Hello everybody, welcome to 21st Century IAS Academy Delhi Campus C.A.R.E initiative, Current Affairs through Reverse Engineering. This is Goli Varsha. Let us look into the first article for the day. One-horned rhinos and their babies grazing in the Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary in Morigaon district of Assam on Tuesday. For prelims, one-horned rhinos is a very important theme. And second important one is Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary. Now we all know where it is located because it's mentioned here, and some other basics about Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary is it is the wetland habitat for Indian rhinoceros. Okay, and it has the highest density of rhinos in the world. Alright, highest density of rhinos in the world, and it has the second highest number of rhinos in Assam after Kaziranga. Alright, highest density of rhinos in the world. And in terms of number, it has the second highest number of rhinos in Assam after Kaziranga. Okay, and it is located on the southern bank of river Brahmaputra. These are some basics about Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary. Now we'll see some basics about one-horned rhinos. In terms of size, one-horned rhinos is the largest among the rhino species. Okay, and what is the IUCN status? It is vulnerable. And what is the geographical distribution? They are distributed across Indo-Nepal Terai lands, northwest parts of West Bengal and Assam. Alright? And what are the protected areas where we can find these rhinos? One is Kaziranga National Park. Next is Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary. Next is Orang National Park, Manas National Park in Assam. And then Jaldapara National Park, Gurumara National Park in West Bengal, and Dudhwa National Park in Uttar Pradesh. Okay, these are the main protected areas, and apart from these, you can also find rhinos, one-horned rhinos apart from these areas, you can also find rhinos in Katernia Ghat Wildlife Sanctuary in Uttar Pradesh and Valmiki Tiger Reserve in Bihar. Alright, you please remember these names. And Rhino Vision 2020. This is a program that is in place. Okay, and what was its aim? Its aim was to increase the population of wild rhinos from 2,000 to 3,000 in Assam by 2020. And what is the method that they opted? It involves wild-to-wild translocations. That is from Kaziranga National Park, Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary to Manas National Park, Laukova Wildlife Sanctuary, Dibru Saikova National Park and Burachapori Wildlife Sanctuary. Okay, so this Rhino Vision 2020 also is important. One more feature of this one-horned rhinos is that the single horn is present in both females and males. Okay, it is not exclusive only to females or only males. Okay, and coming to its swimming ability, it is highly amphibious. Okay, and it's an excellent swimmer, and breeding occurs throughout the year. Alright, so these are some basics about one-horned rhinos and Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary. Alright, now we'll come to the MCQ. Consider the following statements with regard to greater one-horned rhino. It is the largest among rhino species. Yes, we have seen in the basics part. A single horn is present in both the sexes. Yes, their breeding occurs throughout the year. Yes, we have seen in the basics, no? Yeah, their geographical distribution is restricted to Myanmar, India and Nepal. It's not Myanmar, it is Indo-Nepal region. Alright, so yeah, 1, 2, 3 are correct. So 3 statements are right. Now coming to PYQ, consider the following statements. Asiatic lion is naturally found in India only. Yes, it was given in 2019 and the Asiatic lion were found naturally only in Gir National Park and Wildlife Sanctuary. Okay. Now, 1 is true. So, when 1 is true, B is gone. Okay. Now, double-humped camel is naturally found in India only. See, usually this double-humped camel, they inhabit high-altitude cold desert regions. Alright. Whereas one-humped camel, they are found in hot deserts. Alright, so double-humped camel is naturally found in India only is wrong because it is found in Gobi Desert. Where is this Gobi Desert? Northern China region. and southern Mongolia. All right. So it is found there also. So only India is wrong. Gobi Desert and India and some other regions. Okay. So yeah. So two is gone. Now, one-horned rhinoceros is naturally found in India only. No, because we've just seen no, it is also found in Nepal. Okay, so three is also gone. A is the right answer. Now we'll get into the next article. Tribal activists hail compensation for land regularized under FRA. What is the article saying? Tribal rights activists express satisfaction with the compensation awarded for land regularized under the Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Recognition of Forest Rights Act of 2006. So, the full form of FRA is this: Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Recognition of Forest Rights Act 2006. Okay, in connection with 464 kilometers Bharatmala road project linking Raipur and Vishakhapatnam. Now, what is Bharatmala project and what is this FRA? Those themes are important for prelims. Now, what is Bharatmala project? It is a project to improve the road network in the country. All right. And apart from the funding that it gets from the government, the budget for this particular project will also be managed through cess collection. Cess collection on petrol and diesel. Okay, so these are some basics. Now we'll see what are the project components of Bharatmala. This includes feeder route or intercorridors, feeder routes or intercorridors, border road and international connectivity. Border road and international connectivity is also a component under this. Next, port connectivity and coastal road, greenfield expressway and economic corridors. All these are covered under Bharatmala. All right. Now we'll see some basics about FRA. Okay, we have to see some definitions under FRA which can be asked in prelims as match the following or a standalone question. Okay, community forest resource. Now what is a community forest resource? They are common forest land within traditional village boundaries including reserved and protected areas. Okay, so that is community forest resource. Next, forest dwelling scheduled tribes. Now, what is a forest dwelling scheduled tribe? Scheduled tribe members dependent on forest for livelihood, including pastoralist communities. So, they are referred to as forest dwelling scheduled tribes. Okay, and third one is minor forest produce. Now, what is minor forest produce? Non-timber forest products like bamboo, honey, and medicinal plants. All right. Fourth one is other traditional forest dwellers. Okay, we have already seen forest dwelling scheduled tribes. Now we'll see who are other traditional forest dwellers according to the Act. Members of community residing in and dependent on forest for at least 3 generations. 3 generations before December 13th, 2005. Okay, now here what is a generation? One generation is equal to 25 years as per this Act. Under this Act, there are certain forest rights. Okay, rights for habitation and cultivation, to access minor forest produce, and then they also have community rights, that is, rights for nomadic or pastoral communities. Okay, like fishing and water body products, grazing rights. Okay, and forest land diversion is also covered under this law. Okay, now what is forest land diversion clause under this Act say? It says that the Act shall allow for facilities involving felling of trees not exceeding 75 trees per hectare, and facilities like schools, hospitals, anganwadis, they can also be constructed. There are conditions for the diversion of land. Okay, what is that? The project clearance is subject to Gram Sabha's recommendation. That is very important. So Gram Sabha will play a very important role here. Okay, and forest land to be diverted should be less than 1 hectare. All right, now we'll come to the MCQ. Consider the following statements with regard to Forest Rights Act of 2006. Community forest reserve under the Act includes common forest land within traditional village boundaries, including reserved and protected areas. Yes, we have already seen, right, in the definitions part. So this is correct. Forest land can be converted for the construction of facilities like schools, hospitals, only with the permission of Gram Sabha. This is true. So both the statements are correct. Okay. Now, consider the following statements. As per the amendment to the Indian Forest Act of 1927, forest dwellers have the right to fell the bamboos grown on the forest areas. No, this is wrong. Why? Because bamboo grown on the forest land is classified as tree. Okay, now it if once it is classified as tree, no, it will have legal restrictions. So this is wrong. When one is wrong, A is gone, D is gone. 3 is common, so you don't need to read 3, you read 2. As per the Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Recognition of Forest Rights Act of 2006, bamboo is a minor forest produce. This is correct. So 2 and 3 are correct statements. Without reading 3, you can mark the answer. Alright? Now, parochial law. What is the meaning of parochial? Parochial means if we are only concerned with small issues that happen in our local area and not interested in more important things, then it is known as parochial. Okay. Now, what is this article saying? States need to implement labor rights uniformly and not rely on protectionism. The Punjab and Haryana High Court has done the right thing by quashing the Haryana State Employment of Local Candidates Act of 2020 that provides for 75% of reservation to state domiciles in the private sector in jobs that provide a monthly salary of less than rupees 30,000. What did the court say? The court stated that it was beyond the purview of the state to legislate on the issue and restrict private players from recruiting people from the open market. It also held that the act was violative of equality guaranteed under Article 14 and freedom under Article 19 of the Indian Constitution. Okay. Now we'll see some other cases where it was already said that residence cannot be a ground for reservation unless sanctioned by the parliament. Now, what are those cases? Kailash Chand Sharma versus State of Rajasthan, and second is UN Sunanda Reddy versus State of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so these two cases. One is Kailash Chand Sharma versus State of Rajasthan, and UN Sunanda Reddy versus State of Andhra Pradesh. What did the court say? The court said that residence cannot be a ground for reservation unless sanctioned by the parliament. Now, if you observe the fundamental rights, Article 16.3, okay, Article 16.3 says that the power to make laws regarding residence based employment is granted to the parliament. Okay, and only for specific classes of public employment, not private employment. Okay, so parliament can, this is also known as what? Sons of soil clause, no? Sons of soil clause. Yeah. So here not private employment but public employment is mentioned, which means there is no constitutional backing, or the constitution does not grant the union or the state governments the power to enforce reservations in private sector. All right, so these are some basics. Now let us look into the MCQ. The power to make laws regarding the residence based employment is granted to whom under the Article 16.3 of the Indian Constitution? It is Parliament. Okay. Now, which of the following fundamental rights as enshrined in the Constitution of India belong only to the citizens? See, only to citizens, Article 15, 16, 19, 29 and 30 are only for citizens. Alright. Now, what is Article 15? Prohibition of discrimination. Article 16, equality of opportunity. Article 19, protection of right to freedom of speech. Article 29, protection of language, script and culture of minorities. Article 30, right of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. Okay, so these are 5 rights which are there for the citizens exclusively. Okay, now Article 19, yes. So when 1 is correct, B is gone. Now Article 21, no, Article 21 isn't there. It is for both citizens and other people. So 2 is gone. Now Article 15, yes. So C is the answer. Alright. because 4 is common no in both these options, so you don't need to read 4. Now, alarming countdown. All nations must strive for net zero carbon emissions. The title of the United Nations latest report, Broken Record, is a clever pun. So this is important for prelims. Okay. Now, the annual emissions report, usually timed close to be the beginning of the climate talks, reiterates in sharper language that progress since the Paris Agreement of 2015 has been tardy. Now, we have to know some basics that emissions gap report is published by UNEP. Okay, and what are the other reports that are published by UNEP? It is the and Annual Frontiers Report and Global Environment Outlook. All right. So this emission gap report, it actually serves as a pivotal analysis ahead of global climate negotiations. All right. Now we'll get to the MCQ. Consider the following: emissions gap report, annual frontiers report, and global environment outlook. How many of the reports listed above are published by the United Nations Environment Program? It is all the three. Okay. Momentum for Change, Climate Neutral Now, is an initiative launched by, it is UNFCCC Secretariat. Okay. Now we'll see some basics about this one. It was in place in the year 1992. Okay. And it is headquartered in Bonn, Germany. Okay. And Global Environment Facility is under its ambit. All right. Now, there is something called IPCC. What is IPCC? Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Okay. So, it produces reports that contribute to the work of UNFCCC. Okay. So, these are some basics. All right. Now, next article. Coal isn't easy to exclude from sustainable development. What is this article saying? Switching to renewable energy will generate investments and jobs, but in practice, the electricity grid must meet the peak demand at all times. The efficient operation of thermal power plants is critical for India. They ensure peak and off peak demands are met continuously at affordable costs. And what is this article saying about statistics? Indian emissions from fossil fuels and industry between 1750 and 2021 are only 3.3% of the global total. Okay, when it is compared to Europe or USA or China, it is very very less. Okay, behind those of Europe 31%, the US 24.3%, and China 14.4%. Fulfilling the needs of 17% of the world's population is also a fundamental duty to which we must attend. Batteries will become cost effective only after 2030, and tariffs of pithead TPPs are only 40% of the round the clock tariffs for solar plants backed by battery storage. Increasing battery capacity will require import of critical minerals like lithium, cobalt, nickel, and graphite. See, this can be a standalone question for prelims. With the increasing need for renewable energy and batteries and increasing battery capacity, which of the following critical minerals should be imported? Lithium, cobalt, nickel, and graphite. Okay. These are sourced mainly from China, posing significant risks to India's energy security. Indian coal contains high levels of ash, that is 35 to 50% compared to those mined elsewhere. Okay, so these are some points for prelims, and also we have to see one more thing for prelims. What are the types of coal? Okay, if we take stages of coal formation, the first stage is peat, the second will be lignite, third is bituminous, and fourth is anthracite. Okay, so arrange the stages of coal formation in ascending order or from first to last. That means the order is peat, lignite, bituminous, and anthracite. Lignite is also known as brown coal. It has 40 to 55% of carbon. Now, bituminous has 40 to 80% of carbon. And anthracite is the best quality or hard coal, and it has 80 to 95% of the carbon. Okay, so please remember these facts also. All right. Consider the following statements with regard to advanced ultra supercritical technology plants. Now, first of all, you should know what is ultra supercritical technology plant. Okay, these are plants, not that green plants. No, these are power plants. Okay, so these are power plants that operate at temperatures and pressures above the critical point of water. Now, what is this critical point of water? That is the temperature and pressure at which the liquid and gas phases of water coexist in equilibrium. Now, what is the utility of such technology plants? Okay, they burn less coal. They burn less coal for electricity production while reducing the carbon dioxide emissions. Okay, okay, now we'll get back to the question. They burn less coal for electricity production while reducing carbon dioxide emissions. Yes, this is correct. They require fabrication of advanced nickel superalloys into large plant components. Yes, this is also correct. They operate at temperatures and pressures lower than current coal fired power plants. No, it's not lower, it is higher than current coal fired power plants. Okay, so two statements are correct. Now, in the context, which one of the following are the terms pyrolysis and plasma gasification mentioned? Okay, now what is pyrolysis? See, if you go by the etymology, pyro means fire or heat. Okay, and lysis is separation. Okay, now plasma gasification and pyrolysis is related to waste to energy technologies. Okay, so with respect to waste to energy, this pyrolysis means the thermal decomposition of waste into gas and solid phases in the absence of external oxygen or air supply. All right, so that we will use it as energy. We will burn the waste and then we will use the output as energy, okay, as a source of energy. So D is the answer. This is it for today. All the best.